Let's just start recording now, shall we? Settings, audio. This is going to be such an interesting conversation because I've been putting off talking about this for a while now. Not for the reasons you might think, it's just that, I don't know, I feel like it can go either ways. Like, you'll probably get bored because I can get philosophical, or you might be entertained and feel sorry for me, which is probably both scenarios that I wish not to happen. But I'm gonna do my best and try to articulate what I want to say or what I'm trying to say. Um, but yeah, here I am ready to let my heart out. I also want to get this out of the way because my TikTok FYP have been telling me that I'm gonna be in a relationship ASAP Rocky. Okay, someone's gonna reach out to me via social media or whatever. And if I'm taken, I can't talk about how it's like being single. It won't be authentic. So I might as well talk about it while I am still single. So if you don't get the hint already or by the title of this video, this episode is me talking about the art of being single. Chalito, kalau fast forward 5 months later, masih aja single. Stupid TikTok. But yeah, well, whoever you are, hurry up. Kidding. No. So in a world where being in a relationship is much more romanticized than being on your own, it's not easy being single. The media we consume, the culture that we live in, I feel like is telling us being in a relationship puts a high value in your self-worth more than when you are on your own, aka being single. And it's such a bad thing in my opinion because now people are jumping in relationships, like one relationship after another, just because they want to feel safe and secure, just because they feel like they are more worth something if they have a partner. And I don't know, that's like really bad. And that's what I used to think too, which is why I experienced a lot of self disrespect and self hatred because I was single for the longest time. Because of what I said earlier, not everyone is good at being single. I think being in a relationship is way easier than being single. So, those who are able to be single and are super good at it, I feel like those are the cool kids. They're the it people. They're the main characters in their lives. And I completely admire people who are able to stand on their own 2 feet and not rely on anybody to do anything, to just live to their fullest. The reason why I say being in a relationship is easier is because if you go through some shit, you can always fall back to your partner for almost everything. They can be your safe zone, they can be your comfort, but if you're single, you have no one but yourself to rely on. Sure, you have friends, but friends can only do so much for you. At the end of the day, you still have to go back home on your own. You can't be bothering your friend 24/7. Bruh, that's toxic. Okay, you need to chill TFO. And say you have a really good friend who is committed to lending an ear for every single problem, every single drama that you have. What if one by one your friend starts to get into a relationship, leaving you by yourself who is still single until today? Wait, am I talking about myself? Yeah, so back to square one. You have no one but yourself to count on, okay? But of course, being single, no doubt, can be lonely. But if you master the art of being single, I promise you, it can be a superpower that you can use to your advantage. And that's how I felt for the past 3 years. So prior to that, I mentioned earlier that I have been single for almost a decade. I got into my first serious and only relationship when I was 22, but the relationship was so fast that it crashed and burned. And from then until now, I did have like situationships, But of course, it never really took off because I didn't have a sense of self. I was very dependent on whoever I was interested in romantically and also to my friends, that I started to become toxic. Like, I said whatever I could, I became whoever I could, and I did whatever I could to make sure the person I'm interested in wouldn't leave me. So you can definitely say there were a lot of self-esteem issues involved, a lot of insecurities, a lot of like jealousy. So I wasn't emotionally capable of being in a relationship. And looking back now, I'm glad I went through all of that, of course, because it taught me a lot and I have so much to reflect on. So I know what not to do or what not to be. And I've always hated being single because everyone around me seemed to get into relationships quite easily. They can find whoever. Like, I don't understand. And the thing is, people always ask me, how am I still single? Bro, I don't know. I don't have the answer. Am I picky? Yes, of course. Like every other relationship that I let into my life, I have to admit I am very picky because I've always been a person of quality, whether it be, I don't know, like in the people that I choose to have in my life and the kind of life that I want to live. So I've always had a certain standard. But then again, sometimes I do have to admit that my expectations can be too much. So I need to find that balance in just letting it be, you know? And I also realized that my expectations are this high, but I'm not even meeting my own expectations for myself. So if I want to meet someone or be with someone who's like this, I need to reach that level too. So I think that's what I've been working on recently, and it's been quite a journey. So yeah, I was very dependent on the company of people way back then. I wasn't capable of being on my own, doing things on my own. So my plans used to revolve around the availability of whoever could accompany me. And that delayed a lot of personal growth. So yeah, I back to my first point. I think the reason why I myself and a lot of people aren't able to be satisfied fully being with ourselves is because everywhere we look, everyone's in relationships, and even the type of media that we consume, it's like in movies, like the happily ever after always included two people in a relationship. I think you have to really like romanticize your single life. You have to view yourself as an art piece that is being displayed in an exquisite museum or an art gallery. You know, you have those regular visitors who walk past by you. They notice you, they stay for a bit and admire your beauty, appreciate what fine art you are. And then you have those people who walk past by because they refuse to take their time to understand you, or simply because you are not their cup of tea, which is totally fine. But who you want is someone who is starstruck by you and they are so sure that they want you in their life. So they buy you at full price, no negotiation, because they know that you are worth it. They know your value. Yeah, I think that's one way of seeing it. Back to the real world, how do you master the art of being single? I think the first thing you have to do is get to know yourself. I know it's such a simple direction, but it has so many levels to it. There are so many ways on how you can find out what you like, what you don't like. And recently I've started to embrace the idea of going to cafes alone, having dinners alone. Like, I always bring a book with me or my iPad. You can even have your phone with you to just spend time by yourself. Be with your own thoughts and don't run away from them. You know, you have to embrace every single emotion that you feel during that time. And you'll be surprised at how much you enjoy your own company. Like, I was genuinely surprised. I'm like, oh wow, I'm so much fun. I don't need anybody anymore. But okay, you gotta be realistic too. You need to have that balance between, like, if you're on your own, if you can't find anybody to spend time with you, you'll be okay. At the same time, if you have friends who ask you to go out and spend time with you, you should go, because At the end of the day, we as humans, we need human interaction. And I don't think we're meant to be alone for like the longest time. The past 3 years, I enjoy being single. I'm not saying that I don't want to be in a relationship. If a relationship happens or if it comes my way, I will fully embrace it. And I feel like this is the best time actually for me to be in a relationship because I'm ready. I have a sense of self. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. And then you do get occasionally distracted, but that's why you have to remain grounded so you don't settle for less. And once you've mastered the art of being single, I feel like you know your worth better. You don't fall easily for red flags. You don't fall easily for apa tu? Janji-janji manis yang I don't know what. Yeah, basically like fake promises. And also, I enjoy being there for my friends whenever they need me. I think it's such a fulfilling way also to live life, being there for your friends and also for yourself. You cannot ever forget about yourself. So I received a question from a dear listener who asked me to share how is it like to be the only one who is single in your friend group. And I really appreciate this question because that's the whole inspiration why I wanted to talk about this. So despite all the things that I said, right, I have to admit that there are some sucky moments, especially when you're the only one single in a friend group. And I told my friends already that I was going to talk about this, but I just want to remind friends or family who are listening to this that whatever I'm about to share, the sucky moments of being single, has nothing to do with you. It's not like personal. Like this is the reality of being single, you know. So sucky moments, I feel like even then, you know, it sucks, but not to the point where I want to throw a pity party for myself. No, you know, it is what it is. Because honestly, how can I not enjoy being surrounded by love? I feel like seeing my friends happy makes me happy. Do I wish to have the same kind of love that they experience? Of course, I'm only human, you know. But at the same time, I think seeing them happy makes me happy. Okay, so let me explain or let me share the sucky moments that happens when you're the only single person in your friend group. Group pictures. I've never actually felt awkward taking group pictures until another friend who used to be single, he's not single now, used to point out that because we're the only two single people in the group picture, people always make fun of the two of us being together, but we're not. Yeah, so now that he's in a relationship and I'm so happy for him, that leaves me, right? I honestly don't feel anything, but I'm not gonna lie, ever since like that whole issue was brought up, I might be self-conscious. But then again, I don't know. For me, it's not that deep, you know? Group pictures, everyone stands next to their partner, leaving me alone. I guess it's awkward now because I guess people can just see that I'm the only one left. It's awkward, you know, but I don't take it to heart. It's really like chill. Festive season. So Christmas, New Year, Love Day. You don't have anyone to spend it with. So it kind of sucks, but still I find it like not like to the point where I'm depressed about it. Like I still can enjoy myself during those days without having anybody to spend it with. Conflicts within groups. So when you're the only person single in your friend group and you face a conflict with another person in the same friend group, it can be tricky because the other person have their partner to talk to and you don't. And you may think that you can talk to another friend about it, but because you're all in the same group, I think the best way is to not try to okay, this is a personal thing maybe. When I faced a conflict with another person in the friend group, I don't talk to another person who is in the same friend group. I can choose to because they're also my friends. I have the right to, but I choose not to because I understand how awkward it can be. The last thing I want to do is create a division within the group. And even if I decide to talk to them, right, they probably will take the neutral route because everyone's friends with each other. So that leaves you on your own. And if you talk to someone outside of the friend group, it's also not fair because they don't understand the full context. They don't know the person who you are in conflict with. So whatever they say might not be satisfying. They probably will just tell you what they think you want to hear. And in my case, I don't want that. I want people to lay it on me like the real deal. I hope that filled your curiosity. The one who asked me to share about this. It doesn't matter if it's a male or female. I think everyone goes through the same emotions when you're single, regardless of your gender. If you're single and you're listening to this, I hope you find the strength to just not base your value on whether or not you're in a relationship. Based on my personal observation, a lot of teenagers now, they jump from one relationship to another. It's because they don't know how to be single. And for me, it's like so sad. And I can't say anything to them, obviously, because they need to go through their own journey. And I feel like that's why some people stay unfaithful in a relationship, because either they're forced to be in a relationship or they just don't understand what they want. So they still want to explore the farm. I don't know, they still want to explore the, yeah, whatever. Let me know in the DMs if you want to know more about this, because I truly do want to like let you know that you're not alone, in a sense, like how you feel because you're single. Your feelings are definitely valid if you feel alone and all that stuff. But I feel like, you know, instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers, I feel like you should get out and plant your own flowers and decorate your own soul. Really get to know yourself. One day you'll either come to enjoy the fruits of your labor, or finally someone will come knocking on your door. You know, whatever it is, you should do something for yourself always and never wait for someone to do it for you. You will thank yourself. I promise you. What do you think? How are you holding on being single? For those who are single now, let me know. Let me know if you share the same feelings as I do. But if you're in a relationship, out of curiosity, I want to ask you this. Who are you outside of your relationship? Have you ever thought that your likes and dislikes might be influenced by your partner's likes and dislikes? Like how much of yourself have you let go or pushed down just to accommodate your partner's needs and wants? And I want to remind you, that's not a good or a bad thing, okay? It really depends on how you feel about it. Without your partner, how long are you able to be with yourself? Can you live? Are you defined by what you do and who you are, or are you defined by your relationship? And if it's the latter, how do you feel about that? Prior to getting into your current relationship, did you spend enough time getting to know yourself before accepting someone in your life? I can understand that sometimes it just happens. You know, so you have no control over it. Someone comes into your life, you both get along well, you share the same goal, you want to be with one another, you want to spend the rest of your life together, and you be in a relationship. I'm not saying that you cannot still get to know yourself while you're in a relationship. I think most people find out who they truly are when they're in a relationship, and that's completely fine too. You know, everyone has their own journey, but I've always been curious, especially like high school lovers who've stayed together for like the longest time, or people who have not been with anyone else besides their current partner. Like, I've always been curious to know. I think maybe if I get the chance, if I can find someone who's willing to come on this show to talk about it, I would love to ask them some questions, but they have to be really honest. Is that all I have for today? Yeah, that's all I have for today. As usual, it's always been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your company. This has been Izzy Does It. I am Iskandar Karim. Assalamualaikum. Bye.